I think the biggest reveal from Ghost Doctor episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the fact that Sung Tak was able to see ghosts from the beginning.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden.
So in these four episodes, we see that the dynamic between Sung Tak and Young Min kind of changes when we find out that he was able to see Young Min ever since Young Min came into the hospital after his accident. And we also see like ever since he was young, he was able to see ghosts. So I wonder like what exactly happened. I mean, we saw that he there was an accident with him and his father. He fell into the water and then his father went to go get him and the father ended up dying. But was that the actual cause for him to start seeing ghosts? Maybe he wanted to see his dad and that was probably the first ghost that he saw. But I find it interesting that he could see ghosts and he goes to work at the hospital. And from what, when him and his cousin were having that discussion, I thought he had a doctor's degree, but the brother was talking about him having I mean, the cousin was talking about him having an MBA and he flunked out of college or something like that. But, you know, even if that is the case, he's very smart. He knows information. He could recite, a bunch of information. The only problem is he's not very good with the operations. And this is where, he needs the ghost of Young Men to kind of help him and I'm guessing teach him, how to be better. Another thing we find out in these episodes is, you know, the cousin who is, I'm guessing he's the president of the hospital. He's the one who is behind the whole thing. And he got Dr. An, I think, to put the bad thing inside the chairman, which pretty much did that to after the chairman's surgery and he's in the coma. Dr. An put it inside of him at the orders of the cousin. And we also find out that, you know, he Young Man left the hospital because he got a text from, and we find out that he got a text from Sejin. But then, when Sejin was talking to the cousin, she was like, I wonder why he left the hospital, why he left after the surgery for my father. And, the cousin was like, I don't know. And then come to find out that it was actually the cousin who sent him out of the hospital because he knew that they had a thing. He knew that they were dating. So I also wonder if he had something to do with the fact that they broke up. Because when Sejing and Young Min were interns, the cousin was also starting in the hospital because his grandfather wanted him to learn the business by starting from the bottom. So he got to talking to her, and I'm guessing he started liking her, and then found out that her and Young Min were dating. And she was also able, Sejing was also able to go inside her father's room because her half brother doesn't want to let her inside. And they even, made a an article saying that the chairman woke up and that he's still in the hospital. But it wasn't true because he's just trying to persuade the stockholders or something like that in order for him to get what he wants. If you remember from episode 2, the reason he did the reason the chairman's in the hospital like that, and he had the cousin do all of this, is because he wanted something and the father didn't want to give it to him. So he was like, if you had just given me what I wanted, none of this would be happening. So, she was able to go into her father's room with the help of, Sung Tak, just to see how her father was doing. And honestly, like I really want to know, like, when people choose to do these bad things, like he's act he decided to, Dr. An, go along with what the cousin wanted for the sole purpose of getting a senior position. Like, are you serious? Like, how about you let your hard work get you where you need to be? And, the cousin, obviously, he got paid from the other guy, but from the beginning, if you really think about it, because Dr. An went to Young Min's office to kind of complain and say like, "Oh, this is your fault. If you had just said no to the surgery in the beginning." So it kind of tells you that this plan was in motion from the beginning, and they were going to kill the chairman and blame it on well, he wanted to blame it on the younger one, on Dr. Kim. But he, with this whole scenario, he also wanted to get rid of Young Min. So the cousin wanted to get rid of Young Min from the hospital. That's why he was also trying to have his body moved somewhere else. But Sejin came in and is pretty much having Young Min's body in her office. Another thing I didn't understand is where the dark spirit was coming from. So because when he was standing, the other ghosts saw the dark spirit behind him. And then, Tess was like, "Oh, I thought he was done doing that." So they made it sound like it was a ghost that's been here for a while. But then he kind of looked just like the ghost of the guy who ran into him. So, in that sense, I wasn't actually sure if that dark ghost is going to come again, or if the dark ghost, the black, eerie, if he's gonna come again, or if it was actually the ghost of the guy who was on the motorcycle. Because, he's like, "Oh, can you save me, doctor? If you save me, I'll let you know, everything that happened." So now they're going to try to save him so that he can become a witness, um because he has all this information. As a ghost, he can go to different locations and listen to people's conversations. The one thing about that is that I'm like, dude, you're never where you need to be. Like, you need to be listening to this conversation happening, you know? But later on he found out what he needed to find out. But they need to make sure that the other guy's alive so that he can testify, because they have all of this. He said, but there's no real evidence to prove that the guilty people are actually guilty. And it's also interesting to see that how he can achieve different things, or how when things happen to his body. So when he was getting his head scanned, he wasn't able to, um he was blocked, but it seems like it was just his head that was blocked, because he was hitting um the the orb, right? Which he needed to get to the surgery that of the little boy. But while he was getting the CT, the his head scan, he couldn't get through the orb. So if something's happening to different parts of his body, he won't be able to, um, you know, get through the orb of that. And it was interesting to see that he was actually able to go outside. If you remember, there's the orb around the building. He can only move within certain measures of where his body is. So when he got into Sungtak's body, right before Sungtak went out of the building, you know, he was able to get out of the building, drive the car, and save somebody who was dying on the street. The only thing is, when Tess was like, "You better make sure that you don't get out of, the ghost doesn't get out of the body while they're outside of the building, because then the spirit will, go away." And pretty much the body will die. After the scan, Sejing sent his imaging to a colleague in the US, and he told her like it's not good and he only has a month left. So I wonder if episodes 7 through 16 is going to take place during that month, and how exactly are they going to get him out of the coma. And it was also, what's also interesting is the interaction with the other ghosts, when I was like, oh my gosh, he is going to run into them, because he was talking about bad about them um while they were in bed. And because of the whole, "Oh, why are they still here? You need to move them to another hospital, blah 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 blah." And when Sung Tak spoke out, then they showed you the different um perspective when you actually find out that Suntak was able to see ghosts. And he only said something because that one ghost was angry at what Young Men said. And then, Young Men's interaction with them, they want him to do something for them because what's her name? She needs a book, he wants some kind of food, and the other one wants DVD. But I mean, he should just communicate that with, Sungtak. He doesn't have to go get into Sungtak's body to go get them. He could just ask Sungtak to just get them. But I guess in a way, Sungtak doesn't want the other ghosts to find out that he can actually see them. But he kind of did a mistake with the one in the bicycle because he turned around and the guy started talking to him. But if it wasn't for the other ghosts, he would have never learned how to open doors, how to figure out how to drink coffee or eat fried chicken like the other ghost was doing, or how to change his clothes when he needs to. So there was definitely, you know, there's a lot of things he still needs to learn. And he's realizing that, like, with some patients, like his personality wasn't good. So maybe towards the end, we're going to see more of a growth with him, and with him being a nicer, doctor. He's good, but, having good bedside manner also helps. And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.